This video's purpose is to expose the government's strategic tactics to control the mass population through mind control, aka MK Ultra. First and foremost, what is MK Ultra? So in a nutshell, MK Ultra, originally being a project started by the CIA in 1953, which was an illegal human experimentation program, by the way. Its whole goal was to develop mind control techniques with high doses of LSD using hypnosis and electroshock therapy. As you can see, setting up safe houses in California and New York using prostitutes to lure men in to experiment on. And this is well-known information that's not hidden. So with that being said, could the government be using billions of dollars to mind control its whole population with false news and media, getting them emotionally riled up to facilitate an agenda? Don't say I'm reaching in this video, just do your own personal research on what I'm saying to prove me wrong.
It's really taken off.
Can't look away.
Neither can I.
Hold on, here comes the turn.
So the first actual known television, invented by Luigi Bard in 1925, created with the head of a ventriloquist dummy, showed moving images, paving the way for modern-day TV. And of course, TV and phones today being the most influential way to influence American culture, history, and lifestyle since back then has shaped people's perception on life itself. But could the American government be using these devices to mind control us?
First off, you guys do know the Pentagon has a budget for film. There's an entire department in the Pentagon. I should show you the list. You should pull it up. It's wild. Yeah, Pentagon Department for Hollywood, tons of them. Even Transformers, because they're concerned about certain narratives. They get involved with World War films, how are we telling a story about history? Usually it's because we're lying about what we did or trying not to make Americans aware of the crimes against humanity that we commit overseas.
Pentagon has funded some films: Black Hawk Down, Red Dawn, GoldenEye, Top Gun, Apollo 13, Iron Man.
What? Iron Man? Nah, that's her limit right there.
Where? Where, Dwight?
Seems like you already know where.
So as you can see, your hard-working tax dollars are going to mind control to deceive you. Now ain't that diabolical? But if they can fund TV shows and Hollywood movies, what possibly could they do to your everyday news stations and media, like CNN or ABC, etc.?
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trying to be responsible, one-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
more alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first. Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think, and this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Okay, so now that we got that presentation established, let's go back in time to 2021 when there was an unknown mysterious sickness being passed around that somehow started in China but made its way to America, leaving news media to basically promote this virus as the most deadly sickness known to man. And actually, correction, this would be 2020 when new variants began to spread.
After months of progress in dramatically slowing the spread of COVID, tonight, signs of trouble. The CDC reports a 10% increase in new cases in just 1 week. 25% of those linked to the new Delta variant, which the CDC director says is highly transmissible and will likely soon be the dominant variant.
It is clear that communities where people remain unvaccinated are communities that remain vulnerable.
While 67% of Americans 18 and older have now received at least one shot, many states in the South and Midwest are well below that mark. Those with the lowest vaccination rates at or below 50%, Alabama.
So through this campaign, many people began to lose their mind in fear, to say the least. But remember the MK Ultra we mentioned earlier? in which drugs to influence mind control were used, not to mention a large amount of the population in America today is either on psychomedications or use marijuana use, which has been legalized. Interesting. Okay, so at this time, if you weren't scared out of your mind, collecting unemployment benefits or social distancing, you probably was wondering what in the world was going on. But suddenly, in the media, everything took an unsuspected turn. An unfortunate event took place where an unarmed black man was unalived by police using aggressive force in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Again, let me repeat, Minneapolis, Minnesota, causing an uproar in America of racial protests and mass division of its population, whether it was justified or not. You're probably wondering, what does all this have to do with mind control and MLK Ultra? Well, the whole point is, how could the same media who told you a deadly virus is spreading and to stay inside and social distance after promote constantly the situation which will rile protesters up to protest and cause division amongst the population? And it actually worked. In fact, Americans are so under mind control and MK Ultra, they will pull the same exact stunt all over again 6 years later.
Bystander video shows federal immigration agents profanely ordering a woman out of her car. She turns and swerves away from them. One officer approaches from the front of the vehicle and fires.
Oh my God!
The SUV strikes a utility pole and stops. The female driver is later declared dead.
So wait, let's rewind. So in the midst of a deadly virus that happened in 2020, and all of a sudden, the death of George Floyd happened, which caused mass protests. And this happened in Minnesota, Minneapolis, and it happened in the same place again 6 years later.
Now to rising tension in Minneapolis this evening, with more protests underway there and across the country after a woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent.
The Trump administration is defending the officer and vows to continue its immigration crackdown.
Sherman Chow is joining us from the newsroom with the latest tonight. Sherman?
Yeah, Len and Mia, we now know that this shooting happened just a few blocks away from where a police officer killed George Floyd back in 2020. Protests again boiling over there.
Okay, so why would government push these events to disrupt the public into an emotional uproar? It's called distraction. Usually taking someone through fear or a traumatic experience, like fearing for their own life, can leave them vulnerable to do whatever you want. So if there's a massive protest in the middle of a dangerous outbreak, then more people will get sick, right? Then what solution can I bring next to cure the problem? That's right, you guessed it. Bill Gates himself, aka Bill Gates of Hell, aka Mr. Depopulation, aka Mr. Steal Your Health. So I'm no expert like the guy you see here, but if I was to bet my last bottom dollar, if I was a gambling man, I would bet that they about to roll out something to combat a sickness or some type of vax or shot or injection to help the mass population. So I could be wrong, but probably not. And I'm not making any prophetic prophecy or anything like that. But I guarantee you, the same people who were just recently in fear of getting sick, all of a sudden have been emotionally dragged into wanting justice for what that ICE agent did in Minnesota. Probably on social media arguing how this was injustice, with some even more confused Trump supporters. But this is exactly what you call mind control.
I couldn't help but notice your pain. My pain? It runs deep. Share it with me.
They'll never take me alive. I'm getting high with my 4-5. Cocked on these suckers, time to die. Even as a youngster,